I remember the last normal morning with Jessica. She made coffee for me, kissed me goodbye before heading to work. We had been married for 3.5 years. I thought we were building a future together. Life seemed perfect. But something had changed over the past 6 months. Jessica was working late more often. Her phone was always face down. She seemed more distant. Then, one Friday afternoon, I came home early to prepare a surprise dinner. I opened our bedroom door, and my world collapsed. Before I continue with what happened next, I want to ask you something. Where are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Hit that like button if you have ever trusted someone completely with your whole heart. And subscribe if you want to hear more real stories about life, about heartbreak, and about finding strength when everything falls apart. This story is not easy to tell. It took me a full year before I could even talk about it. But I believe my story might help someone out there who is going through something similar. About knowing when to walk away, and why silence sometimes is the most powerful response you can give. So let me take you back to that Friday afternoon. To the moment everything I thought I knew turned out to be a lie, and to the decision I made that would change both our lives forever. Jessica and I met 5 years ago at a coffee shop in Seattle. She was a marketing manager. I worked as a software engineer. The connection was instant. We talked for 3 hours that first day, and I knew she was special. We dated for 2 years before I proposed on a beach in Oregon at sunset. She cried and said yes. Our wedding was small, intimate, perfect. Just close family and friends at a vineyard outside Portland. The first 3 years of marriage were genuinely happy. We took weekend trips to the coast. We cooked together every Sunday. We talked about having kids someday. Last year we bought a small house in the suburbs of Portland. 30-year mortgage. It felt like we were finally becoming adults building something real. Jessica loved gardening. She planted roses in the front yard. I set up a home office on the second floor where I could work remotely a few days a week. We talked about converting the spare bedroom into a nursery eventually. Everything felt right. Then 6 months ago, Jessica got promoted. New title, better pay, more responsibility. I was proud of her. She started working with Kyle, the new senior director at her company. At first, the late nights at work seemed normal. Once a week, maybe twice. New position, new projects, more demands. I understood. But then it became 3 times a week. Then 4. Jessica would come home at 9 or 10 at night, exhausted. She would eat the dinner I had saved for her, barely speaking. She was always on her phone now, even during dinner. When I asked about work, she would give vague answers. Just work stuff, honey. Nothing interesting. Do not worry about it. Our intimacy started fading. We used to make love 4 or 5 times a week. Suddenly it was once every 2 weeks, if that. Jessica was always too tired, too stressed. Not tonight, babe. I have an early meeting tomorrow. I tried to be understanding. I told myself it was just the stress from her new position. She would adjust. Things would get back to normal. I tried to support her more. I cooked more meals. I did more housework. I gave her back massages when she came home tense. But she kept drifting further away. I suggested a couple's getaway one night. Maybe we could drive down to Crater Lake for a long weekend. Jessica said maybe after this project wraps up. But the project never seemed to end. That Friday was our 3.5-year anniversary. Not a major milestone, but I wanted to do something special. I asked my boss if I could leave early. I drove home at 2 in the afternoon instead of my usual 5. I stopped at the grocery store and bought everything for her favorite meal. Herb-crusted salmon with roasted asparagus. I picked up red roses and a bottle of Oregon Pinot Noir from the wine shop. I was smiling the whole drive home, imagining her surprise. When I pulled into our driveway, I saw her car in the garage. That was strange. She should have been at the office. Maybe she had the same idea I thought. Maybe she came home early to surprise me too. That made me smile wider. I carried the grocery bags into the kitchen quietly, trying not to make noise. I heard sounds from upstairs, from our bedroom. My heart started racing. Maybe Jessica was planning something romantic. I walked up the stairs, softly, holding my breath. The bedroom door was slightly open. I could see inside. Time stopped. The world went silent. My hands went numb. Jessica was in our bed. Kyle was with her. His shirt was on our bedroom floor. I heard her laugh. Intimate. Familiar. The same laugh I thought was just for me. I stood there frozen. I do not know how long I stood there. 5 seconds. 5 minutes. They did not notice me. Part of me wanted to scream, to burst through the door, to demand answers, to fight. But another part of me, colder and calmer, whispered something different. Do not. Not yet. Just leave. I stepped backward slowly. I walked down the stairs like I was moving through water. Everything felt unreal. I put the grocery bags on the kitchen counter. The roses looked ridiculous now. Pathetic. I grabbed my laptop from my office, my wallet, my car keys. I walked out the front door. I got in my car and drove. I did not know where I was going. I just drove. I ended up in the parking lot of a grocery store 20 minutes away. I sat there with my hands shaking on the steering wheel. My mind was racing. How long had this been going on? Was Kyle the first? Or were there others before him every late night? Every work dinner? Every time she said she was too tired? Were they all lies? The bed we slept in every night, the home we bought together, everything felt contaminated now. Ruined. I thought about my options. I could go back and confront her, scream and cry and demand explanations. I could try to forgive her, suggest marriage counseling, give her another chance. I could get revenge, expose them to their workplace, make their lives hell. But then another thought came to me. Strange but crystal clear. What if I just left, disappeared completely, gave her exactly what she chose? A life without me. No drama, no confrontation, no second chances. Just silence. At that moment, sitting in that parking lot, I made my decision. I was done. I called Aaron. He had been my best friend since college. He answered on the second ring. I need a place to stay tonight. I cannot explain over the phone. Can I come over? Aaron did not hesitate. Come over right now. I have got the guest room ready. I will put on coffee. I drove to his apartment downtown. When I walked in, Aaron took one look at my face and knew something serious had happened. He poured us both whiskey and told me to talk. I told him everything. Finding them. The betrayal. The lies. My decision to disappear. Aaron was shocked. Man, you are not even going to confront her. You are just going to ghost your own wife. I looked at him steadily. What is the point? What could she possibly say that would change what I saw? She made her choice. Now I am making mine. Aaron was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. Okay. What do you need from me? I took a breath. Time, space, and the name of a good lawyer. That night I could not sleep. I checked my phone around midnight. 7 missed calls from Jessica. Multiple texts. Honey, where are you? I came home and saw the groceries on the counter. Are you okay, Bertram? Please call me back. I am worried. I laughed bitterly. Now she was worried. Now she cared. I did not reply. I turned off my phone. This was the beginning. The beginning of the silence. The silence that would last for 1 full year. The silence that Jessica would later tell me she never thought I would actually maintain. She was wrong about that too. Saturday morning I met with a lawyer. Mr. Harrison had 40 years of experience in family law. Aaron recommended him. We had an emergency appointment. I sat in his office and explained everything. My wife cheated. I want a divorce. I want it done quickly and quietly. Mr. Harrison leaned back in his chair and studied me. Oregon is a no-fault divorce state. We can file the paperwork. But she will need to be officially served with the papers. That is required by law. I nodded. I understand. But I do not want to see her. Can everything go through you? He nodded. Yes. But you need to get your affairs in order first. Separate your finances. Document everything. Move out completely. Are you prepared to do that? I was. We discussed the strategy. I needed to open a new bank account, transfer my half of our joint savings, cancel shared credit cards, gather my belongings from the house. Mr. Harrison asked me one more time, "Are you absolutely sure you do not want to try mediation marriage counseling? Some couples work through infidelity?" I met his eyes. "I am sure. I want this done." He nodded. "We can have the papers ready by Monday. The filing fee is around $500 in Oregon. I will handle everything." That afternoon, I went to the bank. I opened a new checking account at a completely different bank across town. I transferred exactly half of our joint savings, $23,000. I left the other half for Jessica. Fair was fair, even if she did not deserve fairness. I changed my direct deposit information so my paycheck would go to the new account. I canceled our joint credit card. I kept detailed records of every transaction, documentation, evidence, protection. Sunday morning, I went back to the house. I knew Jessica went to yoga class every Sunday from 9 to 11 in the morning. She was obsessively punctual about it. I had a 2-hour window. I parked down the street and walked to our house. My hands were steady now. I packed systematically. Clothes, toiletries, laptop, work documents, personal items, photo albums, but only the ones with my family in them, awards from work, my college degree, memorabilia from before I met her. I left behind everything that reminded me of us. Wedding photos, couple pictures, gifts she had given me, anything that tied me to her. I took only what fit in my Honda Accord. I walked through the house one last time. The kitchen where we used to cook together on Sunday mornings. Pancakes and bacon. Her in my old t-shirt dancing to music while I flipped eggs. The living room where we watched movies every Friday night. Her head on my shoulder. My arm around her waist. The bedroom. I did not go inside. I could not. I left the house key on the kitchen counter where she would see it. Then I walked out and drove away. I did not look back. I rented a small studio apartment on the other side of Portland. $750 a month. It was furnished. Just a bed, a desk, a small kitchen. Basic, minimal. That was intentional. I did not want to recreate what I had lost. I wanted something completely different. A fresh start. A blank slate. Monday morning, Mr. Harrison filed for divorce. Tuesday afternoon, a process server delivered the papers to Jessica at her workplace. I was not there. I did not want to be. But Aaron heard from mutual friends what happened. Jessica was in a meeting when someone handed her an envelope. She opened it right there in the conference room. Her face went white. She excused herself and immediately tried calling me. My phone went straight to voicemail. I had blocked her number that morning. She drove to Aaron's apartment. She somehow remembered where he lived. She knocked on his door frantically. Aaron did not let her in. He stood in the doorway with his arms crossed. Jessica was crying. "Aaron, please. I need to talk to Bertram. I need to explain. It was a mistake. It is over with Kyle. Please, just let me see him." Aaron looked at her coldly. "You had 3.5 years to not make that mistake. He is done. Talk to his lawyer." Then he closed the door in her face. Jessica tried everything over the following weeks. She called my workplace. I told the receptionist to block all calls from her. She somehow found my new apartment address. She showed up at my door. I watched through the peephole as she knocked and cried. I did not open it. She emailed me long apologies. Paragraphs about how sorry she was, how it meant nothing, how she loved me. I set up an email filter to automatically delete anything from her address. She sent letters through the mail. I returned them unopened. She reached out to my parents. They were devastated by what she had done. They supported my decision completely. She even contacted my sister in California. Same response. Every single attempt was met with absolute silence. Through Mr. Harrison, Jessica tried to negotiate. She asked if we could do marriage counseling before finalizing the divorce. Mr. Harrison called me. My client declines. She asked if we could split the assets differently, if she could keep the house. My client wants a clean 50-50 split and quick resolution. She asked if they could meet face-to-face just once. To talk. My client has no interest in communication. Mr. Harrison was earning his fee. Oregon has a mandatory 90-day waiting period for divorce. Jessica initially contested the filing. I think she was hoping to delay things, hoping I would eventually break down and talk to her. But after a month, she realized I was serious. She signed the papers. The divorce was finalized 4 months after I found her with Kyle. 4 months from discovery to completely done. The asset division was clean. The house was sold. We split the profit 50-50, about $40,000 each after paying off the remaining mortgage. The savings were already divided. Our retirement accounts were split according to Oregon law. No alimony. We both had similar incomes. No kids, no complicated custody battles. Just a clean break. Quick and surgical. Exactly what I wanted. Through mutual friends, I heard Jessica was struggling. She had lost a dramatic amount of weight. Her performance at work was suffering. She broke things off with Kyle. Apparently, he was just a fling. Nothing serious. That made my jaw tighten. Just a fling. Just a meaningless fling that destroyed our marriage. She started going to therapy. She told friends she never thought I would actually leave her. She thought we would fight, scream at each other, work through it eventually. She never imagined I would just vanish. Hearing that, I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not pity. Nothing. I was completely numb. 12 months after that Friday afternoon, I had rebuilt my life piece by piece. I got promoted at work. Senior software engineer now. My salary increased to $95,000 a year. I started going to the gym regularly. I lost 20 pounds. I felt physically stronger than I had in years. I reconnected with hobbies I had abandoned. Hiking, photography. I bought a decent camera and started taking weekend trips to the Columbia River Gorge to photograph waterfalls and wildlife. I went on a few casual dates. Nothing serious. I was not ready for anything serious. But it felt good to be out in the world again. To laugh with someone. To remember what it felt like to be wanted. I started therapy too. It helped. Talking to someone neutral about the trauma. Processing the betrayal. Learning to trust again slowly. I moved to a better apartment. 2 bedrooms. $950 a month. I had space to breathe now. Life was not perfect. Some days were still hard. Grief comes in waves. I would be fine for weeks, and then something small would trigger a memory. A song we used to love. A restaurant we went to. The smell of her perfume on someone passing by. Those moments still hurt, but they hurt less each time. I was healing. Slowly but surely. I had no regrets about the silence. No regrets about walking away. No regrets about refusing her apologies and explanations. Until one Saturday afternoon in October, exactly 1 year and 1 month after I found her cheating. That is when everything changed again. It was a crisp autumn afternoon, the kind of day Portland is famous for. Cool air, golden light filtering through the trees, leaves crunching underfoot. I was about to leave for a hiking trip with Aaron. We were planning to drive up to Mount Hood and do one of the trails we used to hike in college. I was packing my backpack when my doorbell rang. I was expecting a package delivery, some new hiking boots I had ordered online. So I opened the door without checking the peephole first. That was a mistake. Jessica stood there. I froze. She looked different. Thinner, like I had heard. Her hair was longer now past her shoulders. She had dark circles under her eyes. She was wearing simple jeans and a sweater, not the polished professional look I remembered. She looked tired, worn down. For a moment, neither of us spoke. She was familiar and yet a complete stranger. 1 year of silence between us felt like a canyon. Jessica's voice shook when she finally spoke. "Bertram, please, I just need 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes to talk to you." My first instinct was to close the door, to maintain the boundary I had built. But something stopped me. Maybe curiosity. Maybe the need for final closure. Maybe just the shock of seeing her standing there after all this time. I stepped outside onto the hallway and closed my apartment door behind me. I did not invite her in. I would not give her that. I crossed my arms and looked at her steadily. "You have 5 minutes." Jessica started crying immediately. The tears came fast and desperate. "I never thought you would actually leave me. I never thought you could just walk away like that. Like I meant nothing. Like 3.5 years meant nothing." I felt a flash of anger, but I kept my face neutral. I let her continue. She tried to explain through her tears. "It meant nothing, Bertram. Kyle meant nothing to me. I was stressed with the promotion. I felt overwhelmed and inadequate. He was there and he paid attention to me, and I made the worst mistake of my life. The worst decision I have ever made. I ended it with him the day you left. The same day. I quit that job 2 months later. I could not stand being there. I have been in therapy every week. I have worked on myself. I understand what I did now. I understand the damage I caused." She took a shaky breath and continued. "I know what I did was unforgivable. I know I destroyed everything we built. But Bertram, we had 3.5 good years before that. Does not that count for something? Does not that mean anything? I love you. I never stopped loving you. I know I hurt you in the worst way possible. But people make mistakes. Cannot we try again? Cannot we at least talk? Really talk? I have so much I want to say to you. So much I need to explain." I listened without interrupting. I let her finish completely. The silence hung heavy between us when she stopped talking. She looked at me with desperate hope in her eyes, waiting for me to say something. Anything. Finally, I spoke. My voice was calm, measured, controlled. "You want to know why I left the way I did? Why I never gave you a chance to explain?" She nodded, wiping her eyes. I continued. "Because there was nothing to explain. I saw everything I needed to see that day. Everything I needed to know about who you really are. You talk about 3.5 good years. You know what I think about now when I look back? I think about all those late nights at work. All those times you said you were at the office. How many were actually with him? How many times did you lie to my face? I think about every time I kissed you. Hello when you came home. Had you just been with him? Were you thinking about him while you were with me? Every time we made love, was he in your mind? You say it meant nothing. But Jessica, you brought him into our bedroom. Into the bed where we slept every single night. Into the home we were supposed to build our future in. That was not a mistake. That was a choice. Multiple choices. Every text you sent him, every lie you told me, every time you looked me in the eye and acted like everything was fine, those were all choices." Jessica was sobbing now. I know. I am so sorry. I would do anything to take it back. Anything. But I kept going. My voice was getting stronger now. Clearer. You say you never thought I would actually leave. You know what that tells me? You thought I was weak. You thought I would be one of those men who takes his wife back, who forgives because it is easier than starting over, who stays because he is too scared to be alone. You thought I loved you so much that I would accept being disrespected, being betrayed, being made a fool of. You were wrong about me. That day when I found you, I made a choice too. I chose my self-respect over my marriage. I chose my dignity over trying to salvage something that you already destroyed. I chose my future over our past. And you know what, Jessica, best decision I ever made? She looked shocked. You do not mean that. You cannot mean that. I looked her directly in the eyes. I absolutely do mean it. Every word. This year has been hard. I will not lie to you. Therapy, rebuilding, learning to trust again, learning to be alone. But every single day of this past year has been better than living a lie with you. Every single day of being alone has been better than being with someone who could betray me like that. Jessica tried one more time. Her voice was pleading. What if I could prove I have changed? What if we could start over slowly, just coffee, just talking, getting to know each other again? I could show you I am different now. I laughed, not cruelly, just tiredly, like I was exhausted by the conversation. Jessica, you are not listening. You are not hearing what I am saying. There is no we anymore. There has not been a we for a full year. I do not hate you, but I do not love you either. I do not feel anything for you. And that is exactly how I want it. You came here hoping for what exactly? Forgiveness, closure. Another chance. I already have closure. I got it the day I walked away, the day I chose myself over you. The divorce is final. The house is sold. We have no shared assets, no shared life, no shared future. You need to accept that and move on, just like I did. Jessica's face crumbled. So that is it, after everything we had, after everything we were. Yeah, I said simply. That is it. I need you to leave now, and do not come back. Do not call, do not text, do not show up here again. If you try to contact me after today, I will get a restraining order. I am completely serious about that. Jessica stood there, crying, finally understanding. She had truly lost me. There was no going back, no second chance, no redemption arc. I turned and opened my apartment door. Before I went inside, I looked at her one last time. I hope you find whatever you are looking for in life, Jessica. I really do. But you will not find it with me. Then I closed the door. I leaned against it, my heart pounding. But I felt powerful, strong. I had stood my ground. I had not wavered. I had won. I watched through my window as Jessica walked slowly back to her car. She sat in the driver's seat for a long time before finally driving away. I called Aaron and told him what happened. How do you feel? He asked. I thought about it for a moment. Free. I feel completely free. Aaron and I went on our hiking trip as planned. We drove up to Mount Hood. We hiked for 3 hours through the forest. When we reached the summit of the trail, I stood there looking at the view. Mountains stretching endlessly in every direction. The sky vast and open above me. I realized something important. I had not just survived the betrayal, I had reclaimed myself. I had reclaimed my power, my dignity, my future. And that was worth everything. The weeks after Jessica showed up at my door were strange. I kept expecting her to try again, to call or text or show up. But she did not. She finally understood. She finally accepted that I was done. That silence I had maintained for a year was permanent. There would be no reconciliation, no fairy tale ending. Just two people who used to be married, now living completely separate lives. I continued building the life I had started. I kept going to therapy. I kept hiking on weekends. I kept working on myself. And then something unexpected happened. I started dating someone new. Her name was Emily. I met her through the hiking group Aaron and I had joined. She was a teacher, kind, genuine, patient. We started talking after a group hike. She asked if I wanted to grab coffee sometime. I said yes. Our relationship was different from the beginning. It was built on honesty, complete transparency. On our third date, I told her my story. About Jessica, about the betrayal, about the year of silence, about how I was still healing. I expected Emily to run, to decide I had too much baggage. But she did not. She listened. She thanked me for being honest. She said she appreciated my straightforwardness, that it showed strength, not weakness. We took things slowly, no pressure, no rushing. Just two people getting to know each other honestly. Work was going well, too. I was being considered for a job offer in San Francisco, a senior position at a major tech company. Better pay, new challenges, a fresh start in a new city. I had not decided yet if I would take it. But it felt good to have options, to have opportunities, to have a future I was excited about. I reconnected with parts of myself I had lost during my marriage. My confidence came back, my sense of self-worth, my ability to trust my instincts. The numbness I had felt for so long gradually faded. The pain transformed into wisdom. The anger transformed into peace. I was not the same person I was a year ago. I was stronger, clearer, more certain of what I deserved and what I would never accept again. People sometimes ask me if I regret not confronting Jessica that day, if I regret the year of silence, if I regret not trying to work things out. My honest answer is no. No regrets at all. Confrontation would not have changed what happened. It would not have made the betrayal hurt less. It would not have rebuilt my trust. The silence was my way of taking control in a situation where I felt powerless. It was my way of protecting my peace, my way of choosing myself. In a situation where I was the victim, where I had no control over what she did to me, I took back my power by choosing how I would respond. I could have screamed. I could have fought. I could have begged for answers. Instead, I walked away. And that walk led me to a better life. A life where I respect myself, where I have boundaries, where I know my worth. That Friday afternoon when I found her cheating, I could have chosen drama, revenge, public confrontation. Instead, I chose silence. And that silence spoke louder than anything I could have said. Here is what I learned through all of this. Not every betrayal deserves your energy. Not every person who hurts you deserves an explanation of your pain. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. Silence is not weakness. It is a boundary. It is self-preservation. It is strength. Leaving is not giving up. It is choosing yourself. It is choosing your dignity over someone else's comfort. You do not owe anyone a second chance to hurt you. You do not owe anyone your forgiveness just because they finally feel sorry. And most importantly, people will only treat you the way you allow them to. The moment I stopped accepting disrespect was the moment I started living again. The moment I chose myself was the moment I became free. If you are going through something similar right now, if someone has betrayed your trust, if you are wondering whether to stay or go, ask yourself this question. Am I staying because I love them? Or am I staying because I am afraid of starting over? The answer might surprise you, and it might just set you free. Sometimes the best thing you can say is nothing at all. Sometimes walking away is winning. Sometimes silence is the most powerful response. And sometimes the person who leaves is not running away. They are running toward something better, toward themselves. So if my story resonates with you, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below, telling me what you think. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you loved? Have you ever chosen silence over confrontation? What would you have done in my situation? I read every single comment, and I appreciate every one of you who takes the time to share your story. If this video helped you in any way, please hit that like button. It helps more people find this content. Subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more real stories about life, relationships, heartbreak, and healing. And share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Someone who is struggling with a difficult decision. Someone who needs to know that choosing yourself is not selfish. It is survival. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. I know these topics are not easy, but I believe in the power of sharing our experiences, in letting others know they are not alone. Whatever you are going through right now, I hope you find your strength. I hope you find your peace. And I hope you always choose yourself first. Take care of yourselves out there. You deserve better than someone who does not see your worth. And remember, sometimes the best revenge is living well. Stay strong.